We started, run out of money. We didn't have any products still, any prototypes.
Honey badgers don't give a shit. They just do what they want to do. Yeah, honey badger, we're sort of similar.
For the first 6 months, we had no product, but I don't think that's a problem.
Our company is not still successful, but we're doing great.
I thought I was obsessive because I always wanted to work hard. Seeing him work, I felt like, wow, I really didn't try that hard in life.
My name is Woojin Kim. I'm the CEO at Business Canvas. Type is a software that facilitates the entire process from resource collection all the way to knowledge management over document writing. We try to, reduce, dramatically the time for, looking for certain files and managing folders, etc. So that, humans can only focus on document writing, utilizing fully all the pieces of knowledge effectively. We try to become a better version of Google Docs, Slice.it, even Google Drive. We were founded in 2020. We've raised $7 million US. The most recent round was we raised, $5 million US. I'm not really proud of my, young days. I dropped out of school, when I was a high school student in South Korea. I went to foreign language school. It's a very specific school that has an aim to go to, prestigious universities. So I wanted to read a lot of books as possible back in the days, but they kind of didn't allow me to do that. So I got a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, from, university stuff. In Korea, it's crazy here. So yeah, I dropped out of school. And I finally decided to go to France, actually to become a film director. I think really the life is, full of unexpected events. I wanted to be a movie director. I happened to, intern at a small company, small association. The association actually helped international students, find, accommodations. It was on kind of offline platform. There was a Japanese founder who was running that association. I was an intern, but over the 6 months, I realized that, I'm pretty good at it. This is a thing I really love. After the end of the internship, CEO of the company offered me to, take over the company. I decided to run that specific company, but you know what, just after a year we went bankrupt. It was very first failure I've ever experienced in my life, but thanks to that failure I really was determined to study more deeply business management, and I finally decided to go to business management school in Paris. When I first got into college, I was 24, very late. So many aspects, I was a late comer. Indeed, I had nothing to lose. I was so desperate. I think I took a lot of advantages, compared to, my peers. I already worked before. That work experience actually helped me become more immersed into studies because I knew where this kind of knowledge will be used later on in the workplace. That accounting subject, I really need to absorb all those knowledge because I needed it. After I knew that I'm gonna be an entrepreneur someday, a work experience before actually studying helped him a lot. After doing my master's, I rather try to choose a stable career. That's why I became a consultant. But I knew long time ago, ever since I worked at a small association in Paris, actually entrepreneurial blood was in my vein. When I became kind of 30, I thought becoming too late, let's take the risk. There's nothing to lose. Then thought that, all right, I'm gonna quit. On the day, I knew that I got a promotion. So it was a very big decision for me. But not only my parents, I think a lot of my friends, they told me, yeah, you're not good enough, intelligent enough to get that kind of stuff. It's just for special people. I thought to myself, before ever giving it a try, I never know my potential. When I decided to, start up, I actually, haven't told my friends because I was so ashamed because I thought it would fail. Yeah, to be really honest. But yeah, it just became a little longer than I thought.
Got to say hi again. Good morning. My name is Brian, co-founder and head of product at Type, and we are a document collaboration software that aim to serve as your team's second brain.
Before co-founding Type, I co-founded another company before Business Canvas. I grew up in the Philippines, hence I've seen many of these single mothers or teenage mothers being unable to receive education, hence being unable to find the rightful jobs that they need in order to take care of their family and themselves. So Levelster was a company that aimed to solve the problem, the vicious cycle that happens with the lack of education and the lack of work that these single mothers were facing. The beginning was very light. Building our ideas out, writing that business plan, it all seemed very unreal because it just seemed like another project. It seemed like a homework basically. Once we started pitching it and started talking to customers and started talking to investors, they were saying, okay, I'll invest this amount of money, go build it. I think that's when I realized like, wow, like I actually need to build something. I like to say this a lot. If I want to fix a disease of one person, I can probably do my best to study and become a doctor. But there are so many people, smarter people, who can be doctors. So I believe that it is smarter for me to rather build a clinic or a hospital where I can make an environment where all these smarter people, smarter doctors can come in and make that process much better than I can. When I realized that this is the fastest way how I can make a positive impact in this ever-changing world. Yes.
I came to the US when I was very young. My only goal was study hard, get good grades, get to the next place well. So I did go to Phillips Academy Andover, which at the time was ranked the first prep school. I just really tried to study my hardest and get to that next place, which was university. Fortunately, I got into Yale. And when I got to Yale, again, it was the same thing. All throughout that time, I think I never really thought of what I wanted to do.
After deciding to quit my consulting firm, I joined a very small early stage startup. And I was a CSO. I hired a lot of good talents. I just try to convince them, I'm gonna start this new company. I have a really great idea. But rather than trying to convince my product or my business vision, I try to talk to them really genuinely about life vision. Through this journey, I want to achieve this life. I want to have this life. And what about you? I asked one by one. I try to really understand in their shoes what they really desire. It's not necessarily the product. I just talk to them one by one. All right, so this journey might help you, get what you want.
So there were so many learnings that I had from my first company. So basically from founding all the way to the end of the journey was around 1 year. We had a very solid business, a solid product, and our fundraising was going very well. But eventually our co-founding members had a very different vision for the product. I personally was very hooked by the vision that we were solving. My other teammates were more focused on the business side. So there's no right and wrong here. The most important lesson that I learned from my first company is before product, before business, it's a team that needs to be solid. It's a team that needs to trust each other no matter what happens. So when Woojin first brought up this new venture, he was like, Brian, I have this just a thought idea regarding solving the problem of business plans. He wanted to build a product that enables people to write better business plans and pitch decks. I not only agreed with the vision that we wanted to, the problems that we wanted to solve, but it was more about how much I trusted Woojin, how much I trusted all the co-founding members. And when I thought, could I work with these people for the next 10, 20 years? The answer was a definitive yes.
A lot of entrepreneurs, they think that they need a solid product or even MVP metrics to, fundraise initially, but it's not true. So in my case, I didn't have any product, even the MVP, prototype, anything. I just only had, pitch deck. It's composed of, 120 pages, I guess. Through that, long pitch deck, I was able to show how desperate, how serious our team is about this specific product and business model.
For the first 6 months, we had no product, but I don't think that's a problem. Basically, startup is a problem-solving organization. They're not a product-making organization. They're not a business-making organization. That happens later. The first step is to verify whether the problem that you found is true. Even before founding the company and building the product, all the way to today, we do talk to users a lot. This test called the mom test. If you bring your product to your parents or your mom, she will basically say it's good, no matter what. Our first principle is to not ask leading questions. So if we ask, are you having a hard time writing a business plan? They'll say yes. I mean, that's an obvious answer. So really breaking that down into first principles is the first step. When we ask, do you have a hard time writing a business plan? They'll probably say yes. Why? It's because I don't know where to start off with. I don't know how to find the right numbers. And we ask, why is it hard to find the numbers? It's because, there's not enough channels or not enough data regarding this specific industry. Why is that? It's because when I do research, I don't know which sources are trustworthy. Why is that? It's because I have nowhere to verify. So once you constantly go down that why loophole, I think you'll find that fundamental reason why it's hard to achieve that and why it's fundamentally a problem, especially when users are facing a problem.
I vividly remember my very first investor meeting. In 5 minutes, while I was doing the pitch, he just, stopped me and said to me like, all right, I'm gonna invest you. Who else are you talking to? Investors. I'm talking to this guy and that guy. All right, drop all these deals. I'm gonna make a decision right now. I'm gonna confirm it. So I was so surprised. Later on, I just asked, why did you make that decision so hastily? He said like, I read your pitch deck beforehand. You just found it 3 weeks ago. Now you just made a 120-page long pitch deck. I think it kind of worked out. The problem after having that 6 months, we started, run out of money. We didn't have any products still, any prototypes. We just launched very quickly, very simple version of the prototype. Then investors probably, would ask like, all right, there's no metrics, there's no evidence, and this product will actually work out. So we came up with the idea then, all right, without tangible product, how do we actually prove this product will be successful? So we decided to launch on product hunt. It's kind of billboard chart for software. Luckily enough, we became the product of the day, users coming from over 20 countries. So we again leveraged this opportunity, choose traffic. So we launched lifetime pass with $100. It's pretty expensive, limited only 100 tickets, but it sold out like in 3 hours. Even investors, they're completely convinced. Even before launching the product, it made a splash in the market. That way, without any prototype, we were able to raise $2 million again US dollars.
I think a lot of people mistake IR as like this one big meeting that either gives you the money or doesn't. It's really investor relations. Almost from the start, how do you meet this investor that you want to be invested from? I think for us to be invested from Kakao, Woojin will probably say it took us a year. But our first meeting to investment in us took about 3 months. The reason why I say it probably took a year for Woojin is because I know when he met me, he told me that he's gonna get the next investment from Kakao Ventures. But when the time came for us to fundraise again, he had already been sending Kakao Talk, which is sort of like WhatsApp in the US. He had been sending messages to the CEO of Kakao Ventures almost every day. So for him, it's probably a year because he had been telling them every little progress that we had been making. So when we did start to open a round, VC had already sort of known a lot about us because Woojin had been sending them updates, everything that he could for about 6 months.
Now we have to scale up. The product became pretty stable. We are experiencing stable, exponential growth. The thing is, we need more resources, but hiring more people with, a bunch of money is easy. But the thing is, maintaining our own culture is such a pain in the ass. It's about the retention again, just like SaaS products. So I try to, satisfy in many ways the current employees, current team members, but the main focus is always about the growth. Basically, people who are attracted to startups, it's all about the growth.
It's like, I think there was a documentary about what honey badgers do, what they are. Honey badgers don't give a shit. Do what they want to do. Like they're eating a snake, and because of the poison of the snake, they'll like knock out. And then they would wake up after hours and eat that snake again. Like it just doesn't care. If it wants honey, it doesn't care that there's like hundreds of bees stinging you, which probably hurts. It'll just go and eat it. We're sort of similar. If we see something, we'll just go for it. There are a lot of crazy people.
It's almost like a school club or like a small community at a college. It doesn't feel like a strict hierarchical company, but I think we are able to sort of move together towards one direction pretty quick. And the second thing, which sort of derives from the first thing, is that Andy and the team sort of do try to give a lot of opportunities for literally everyone to sort of have a say and have an opinion and actually execute that opinion. For example, I joined as an intern last year. We were talking about how there's a need to build a mobile app for Typed, and it was just an idea. However, I kind of wanted to build on that idea, but at the time I didn't know much about what product management was. I didn't know much about the product itself yet. But then the team sort of set the environment for me to actually go and execute the mobile product. So I sort of had to own the whole product development cycle for that team Type mobile, and I was able to ship it to the customers even as an intern who didn't know much about the product management. I think that says a lot about the team culture.
I think number one, Type's culture is to be radically transparent, to be very, very transparent and communicative of whatever is happening. Even if something's going bad, even if something's failing, all the more you should be transparent so that the team can help you solve that issue. Number two is mutual respect. And number three is more of a lighter one, which is basically to have fun.
I went to school first time at 25, and I could, go to pretty good, graduate school because I really worked hard. But it's not because I was smart or something. So the only message I want to give, when I was, was student, when I looked at, a lot of successful, entrepreneurs, I thought that there were just different types, different people, from the beginning. That was my thought, but I just wanted to tell you, my company, our company is not still successful, but we're doing great. But I just wanted to let you know, if you think I'm a different type of person, no, I'm not. Just I was lagging behind in every single aspect. So I just wanted to tell you that if I was able to do this, and you're probably a piece of cake.
During my study here in the US, I have met some of the most brilliant people, probably in the world. They'll probably go on to win Nobel Prizes and etc. But when I met Woojin and when I started working with him, I thought I was sort of smart. I thought I was obsessive because I always wanted to work hard, and I thought I did. Seeing him work made all of that change. I felt like, wow, I really didn't try that hard in life. I wasn't desperate enough. That's how he makes you feel. Not by his intentions, but just by being with him and working with him. He will always be the last person to leave office. Sometimes I would be head focused into, whatever project that I'm working on, and I would spend maybe 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. just headphones on and just working at it. And when I'm finished, my assumption there is, no one's gonna be at the office anymore because it's 2 a.m. But when I put my headphones down, it's none other than Woojin, who comes over to me and starts talking about this idea.
When I listened to when Woojin and the other co-founders actually explained to me what product we're trying to build and what impact we're trying to give into the world, we're trying to connect all different informations and different types of knowledge together. And I realized that through this, we would be able to build a knowledge network. I was actually learning about neurons, and I was quite interested in neuroscience as well. So when I was actually studying neuroscience, I realized that the product we're trying to build is very similar to the way how the brain works, the human brain works. And so basically our white paper actually talks about how the brain finds patterns, and just like the way how the brain finds patterns, type actually tries to find patterns between different informations. And I think that's how that project actually started.
We have users coming from over 150 countries, 30,000 users around the world. For us, document is a container of knowledge. When it comes to creating knowledge, you have to automatically reference a lot of different types of digital form of knowledge. So you can collect variety types of references, whether it be PDF, Excel, Word, and you can refer to all those different formats of files directly while writing a document. That's, I think, the biggest difference from other competitors.
I believe I am a very big beneficiary of technology, especially the internet. I think that's because internet was able to decentralize knowledge in a way that gave me the opportunity to consume any type of information that I wanted anytime, which I believe is immensely valuable. Because I benefited so greatly of this, I want to amplify this even more. Equal opportunity cannot happen, but opportunity for equality is something that can be achieved through providing more opportunity through technology. The reason why I founded my previous company, why I founded Typed, and other companies that I will probably build throughout my life is aligned with my life's vision of trying to build more opportunities for people to achieve equality. And right now, I'm more focused on the information/knowledge aspect of this opportunity, because I think people should be able to learn and to utilize whatever knowledge and information that they need in order to achieve something. So I think the happiest moment, especially while I'm building the product, is when our customer tells us or tells me that, oh, I am writing my new business plan with Typed. I am writing my new research paper with Typed. It's basically because we're building that basis for other people to realize their dreams on. So I think making that impact is something that makes me really happy, and basically a lifelong mission for me.